and in today's video I am going to be giving you guys my photography tips and tricks. So let's go ahead and get started. So my first photography tip is to use forks to help your doll stand up better. Here I just have two forks, one for each leg, and I'm going to show you guys how I use these to help my dolls stay standing easier when I'm outside taking photos of them. So pretty much what you do is you just take your fork and you shove it up the doll's pant leg, and then you leave roughly an inch of fork sticking out the bottom, and then you take that inch of fork that is sticking out and you shove that into the ground, and you do that for both legs. That way you can stand your doll up and they can do different poses and they won't fall over. So I found this to be super helpful, and that's often how I get my dolls to look like they're walking in photos. My next photography tip is to use a reflector. I got mine off of Amazon. It was about $16, or you can find them for about $16. Really nice and big, and it helps reflect the light onto your doll's face. Pretty much what it does is it helps guide the light onto your doll's eyes, which really helps to make them stand out in photos. So I really recommend using a reflector. You can also make one out of tin foil. Here's one that I made before I got my my real reflector. It's just made out of tin foil taped onto a piece of cardboard, and this actually works really nicely if you are going to try and figure out if you want to purchase one or not, so I recommend making one of these. My next photography tip is don't shoot in direct sunlight. So you want to put your doll so that the sun is either behind the doll, creating a backlighting effect on your photo, or you can take pictures of your dolls in the shade. Just to sort of show you guys what I mean, I drew this little visual representation. So here's the sun, and then here's your subject, so your doll, and then you want to have your camera so that the sun is in the background or behind your doll, and that way the sun isn't overexposing your doll's face. My next tip goes along with the last tip, and that is to not shoot in harsh lighting. So I recommend taking your pictures either earlier in the day or later in the day when the sun is not directly above you, because then you're not going to get as many shadows on your doll's face. My next tip is one that even I am still working on, and that is to make your doll tell a story, or make your photo tell a story. So I really admire people on Instagram who are very good at doing this with their dolls. Like, you look at the picture and it just looks like you can exactly tell what is going through the doll's mind, or you can tell what's happening. So instead of just taking pictures of your dolls at different angles or with different backgrounds, I recommend doing your best to make something happen in the photos. So make your doll like take a walk with their dog, or make your doll riding a bicycle or having a garage sale or something fun like that, and it will really make your photos more interesting and make more people want to look at them. My next tip is to edit your photos. I use Lightroom to edit my photos, and I believe the software was about $200 to download. However, I don't think they still offer that way of purchasing it, and now you have to pay about $10 a month if you want to use Lightroom, so it is sort of expensive, but I really recommend it. It has been so worth it, and I really love editing my photos with it. It's so much fun, and I love how my photos turn out. But if you are looking for a free editing system, I recommend GIMP. It is free to download on the computer, and it actually is fairly good once you learn how to use it. My next tip is to make sure that your doll looks neat in the photo. So make sure that there's no wrinkles in your doll's outfit, that nothing's like tucked in weird, or just that your doll looks very nice in their outfit. And then also make sure that their hair is brushed nicely, and if you want to do a hairstyle, make sure that it is done neatly. So if you want bokeh in your photos, and by the way, if you don't know what bokeh is, I'll have a sample picture on the screen of what it looks like. That's the circular looking things in the background of some photos. So if you want bokeh but you don't have a bokeh lens, then I recommend going to your camera and switching it to manual mode and then changing the f-stop. And that helps make the bokeh in the background. It makes the background more blurry. Also, you can put your lens at full zoom and then move back so that your doll is like in the right position on the camera, and that also really helps to put bokeh in the background. Another tip that I have for you guys is if you have a DSLR camera, I really strongly recommend learning how to use the manual mode on the camera. I recently have started learning how to use it, and honestly I think it has dramatically improved my photos so much. Like, they look so much better now, and I really feel like I have more control over the photo, so I definitely recommend learning how to use the manual mode on your camera if you haven't already. My last tip is to use the rule of thirds. So if you don't know what the rule of thirds is so what it is on some cameras you can adjust the screen so that it has a grid on the screen, and there are 9 blocks on the grid, and pretty much what you want to do is line up your subject on one of the lines on the grid, and that pretty much helps the photo to look better proportioned, and it helps guide the eye to the right spot in the photo. So that is all of my tips for you guys. I hope this was helpful. If it was, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you learned anything new. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!